Hey guys, Johnny Cribbs 2000 here. Welcome back to my King of Fighters special Thanksgiving live stream. I also want to apologize. Apparently somebody is vacuuming at some 6:30 at night. I don't know. I don't understand that. But anyway, guys, we have moved on from King of Fighters 99, and we are now on to King of Fighters 2000. I have moved back to the PlayStation 2. So this is the PlayStation 2 version of King of Fighters 2000, and this is oftentimes considered to be one of the best entries in the King of Fighters series, if only for one reason and one reason only, as we will soon find out. Here, as you guys can see, is a large selection of characters. I'm going to try to choose some of the newer characters if I can, if I know how to work with them. One of them being Lyn. Let's go ahead and choose Lyn. Seth. No, not Mai. She's been there for a while. Kula and Vanessa. Now, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people think that this is a great or one of the best King of Fighters entries in the series. I'm going to just do that. Every person has an alternate striker, and this is very, very awesome because any of these strikers can come from anything in the SNK universe. So it's not just it's not just King of Fighters or even just fighting games. It's literally it can be from like any SNK game whatsoever. As you guys saw there, Vanessa's alternate striker is Theo, who is from Metal Slug, which is all kinds of awesome. In fact, let me just call her. No. I thought. There we go. There she is. So that's Theo from not King of Fighters, but Theo from Metal Slug, which is all kinds of awesome. And every person has that. Some people actually have two, if you can believe that. Go ahead and finish this. Oh, come on. There we go. And that's one of the things that a lot of people really like to mention about King of Fighters 2000 is just the amount of characters and the amount of cameos and the amount of fan service that SNK was able to put onto one game, and just how awesome it is, because this is, again, a lot of times King of Fighters tends to be sort of like a celebration of SNK. Imagine like a yearly edition of Super Smash Brothers, and that's sort of maybe not to that much of an extent. Booyah! Left yourself open, Kenso. But it more or less is, you know, it's sort of like a celebration of fighting games, of King of Fighters, and you know, a lot of times you'll have entries that sort of. Oh, come on, Athena. By the way, if you guys aren't noticing, what she's doing is every time she comes out, she gives Kenso a bit of life, so he regains a bit of health. And that's blood. I don't know what just happened there. As you guys saw there, he's bleeding from his armpits. I don't know why. Oh, freaking Bao. Bao is one of the most hated people in the world of SNK, by the way. Booyah, 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 booyah. Put you out of your misery. A lot of people just hate him because, you know, little kids shouldn't be in fighting games, especially something as serious as booyah, as King of Fighters. Let's finish this little runt off. Oh, come on. And there we go. Awesome. So yeah, a lot of people really love this entry in the series just because, aside from the fact that it is a very, very solid fighting game, it's a very solid King of Fighters game, you know. It's also a celebration, you know, just how many cameos there are. So this is Lyn, and Lyn's alternate striker is AG. You know, remember that? You remember that stupid ninja guy that I failed to use in King of Fighters 95? Yeah, he's here. He's not playable, but he's a striker. So every person has this, and that's the great thing about it. And some of them can be really, really obscure characters from SNK's history. And that's what makes this, you know, a great entry in the world of King of Fighters. Booyah. Finally, AG makes himself useful. And this is Seth. Seth is a businessman. Honestly, he's kind of boring, in my opinion. He's sort of like a counter striker. Not a counter striker, but he's a counter character. If you guys see there, he kind of does that thing, and he's expecting you to kick him or hit him or something like that, and then he'll counter it. I've never been good at him. I think that his style is very, very stiff. I don't know how to explain that. Being a martial artist, like me, I'm a martial artist. I've trained in martial arts for well over 10 years now. I see him in his art, in his fighting style, and he just comes off as very stiff to me. So he's not that fun to use. So, ow. And of course we have Blue Mary, who has finally become a part of the Fatal Fury team, even though she's been in the King of Fighters series since '97. Never been a part of the Fatal Fury team until now. Eiji, get out here. Be useful. There we go. Okay, I don't know what that was. Let's try that again. There we go. See, look at that. Like, he's on the ground and just kicking. What the hell is that? And booyah! Flip throw. And boo. And who jumps like that? Who jumps straight-legged? Like I said, very stiff. Seth is a very, very weird dude. He looks cool, and the first time I saw him, I thought that he would have like a very cool style. He doesn't. He's more like an assassin type, and I think maybe because of that he comes off as very stiff. He doesn't have like a proper fighting style, like a really cool kung fu or karate style like the other characters in the series do. He's just, you know, very simple. I'm not a big fan of Seth, if you haven't noticed by now. Booyah! Counter! Boosh! 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 Awesome. I actually did not even know that was his special. I kind of just did it and hoped for the best. For victory, bring wine and chinchilla. It's all I desire. Alright. And this is Seth's alternate striker is Damon, one of my favorite grapplers in the King of Fighters series. And now we're playing as Kula. Kula is, for all intents and purposes, she's been called the anti-K-Dash. Essentially what she is that she's sort of like a female version of K-Dash, the guy that I was playing as before. So while K-Dash utilizes fire, Kula, if you can imagine, utilizes ice. And she is different enough, so she's not just like a clone of K-Dash. So she does have her own moves and things like that, which are pretty cool. So like, let's see if I can hit it. Boosh, like that. She blows air, I should say. Alright, enough of this. Goro, come here. And he did nothing. Damn it, Goro. Booyah! Got an iceberg or an icicle stuck up his ass. That's awesome. And Kula is a very cool character. She looks cool. She has a nice kind of look to her. And her storyline is actually pretty awesome too. I'm not going to spoil anything because, like I said, I do eventually plan on doing a proper Let's Play, like a proper coverage, like actually playing through the entire games for my channel. I don't know when. Obviously, like I said before in the last part, one of the things that's keeping me from doing that is the fact that I'm going to be forced to play through King of Fighters 94 and 95, which I just don't like at all. Get off me. And Goro, come here. There we go. Boosh. Oh, come on. Oh, no. I was trying to do her special. She wouldn't do it. She kept doing that little blow thing. Damn it, Kula. But anyway, here is Vanessa. Vanessa is actually very, very cool. She is a boxer. And because of that, she's very, very quick. Booyah! Just straight punched him down to the ground. I don't know how to use her effectively, but just take it from me. I have seen people utilize, like I've seen experts utilize Vanessa, and my God, like they're very, very good. The thing about Vanessa is that she has this little dash thing, like right there that you guys just saw, and I've seen people just utilize the hell out of it. They can cover distance, and they're very quick. Oh, come on. I'm getting owned here by Benimaru. That's just sad. By the way, Benimaru is one of the more interesting characters in the King of Fighters series, if only because he's a very feminine person, shall we say, and for Americans or more Western audiences, he can come off as being very weird, very feminine, if, you know, let's just be blunt, people can call him kind of, you know, gay. The interesting thing is that Benimaru is not gay. He's actually very popular with female gamers, female King of Fighters fans in Japan. I don't know how many female King of Fighter fans there are in Japan, but apparently he's kind of hot stuff over there. I don't understand it either. But anyway, guys, that's it for my coverage of King of Fighters 2000. Before I leave, though, let's just take a look at the last alternate striker. This is Foxy. Foxy is a member of the Nest team. She's actually going to appear, and I'm going to play as her in King of Fighters 2001 in a minute. So I'll talk about her later. But here is Rugal, and here's Candy. Candy is Kula's sort of her sidekick or whatever. But here's Rugal. So anyway, guys, give me a minute. Unfortunately, from now on, these games will come out in a separate disc. So if you guys can just give me a minute while I change the disc from King of Fighters 2000 to 2001. Like I said, I got the version, I have the version of King of Fighters 2000 and 2001 for the PlayStation 2, but not from the Nest Saga, like the Nest collection. I have the individual disc. I really can't tell you which is the better version to get. If you should get the version like the ones that I have, there are two different ways to get the Nest Saga if you're in the United States. The way that I have it is that I have King of Fighters 99 for the Dreamcast. Obviously, it's the version that I played last part. I have King of Fighters. There are two games. There are three games rather in the Nest Saga. 99, actually 4. 99, 2000, 2001, and 2002. I have 99 for the Dreamcast, and then there are two different games, two different collections for the PlayStation 2 that include 2000, 2001, 2002. You can get 2000 and 2001 on one collection, and then you can get 2002 as part of the other collection, which is on the PlayStation 2, which has both 2002 and then 2003 in the same box. That's what I have. Or if you want to keep things simple, you could just get the Nest Saga, which is sort of like the same thing that I had before. You know, the way that I played the Orochi Saga, the King of Fighters 94 through 98, which just combines all of them into one disc. I believe. I don't own it. I think that's how it works. But if it's anything like the Orochi Saga, then you'll probably be missing out on some of the extras. I didn't show it off because, let's face it, I didn't have time. But the original, the King of Fighters 2000 has an extra feature where you can see all the intros to the original games. And this one, 2001, the PS2 version, you have team play, single play, party mode, and then you have practice, which obviously you don't get if you're playing the arcade version. But anyway, this is King of Fighters 2001, and this is oftentimes seen as a lot of people's least favorite game in the series. And we will see why. One of the things that you won't see is, and here I'm playing as the Nest team because this is exclusive to this game. This is the only time in the entire series where you got to play as Nest. But before I keep going, this is the thing that's new. Before, it was always 3 people, 3 fighters, and then 1 striker. Here, you actually have the choice. You can have as many strikers as, you can have up to 3 strikers, and you can have up to as many as 4 different characters. So I'm just going to stick with the typical one. So here we go. We can choose 1, 2, 3. And then here we can either make Angel either a striker or a 4th player. Now you may be wondering, well, what's the difference? Well, if you have 4 different characters, then they're a lot weaker. So the less characters that you have, or the more characters that you have on your team, like the more active characters, so the ones that you actually take control of. Oh man, I chose the wrong colors. Darn it. I'm very sticky about that. Then that means that the weaker they're going to be. If you have, so for example, a team of, what I mean by, kind of make this a little bit more simple to understand. If you have a team of 4, if you choose to have a team of 4 playable characters, each one of them is going to be a lot weaker than if you have one team, a team of just 1 playable character. That 1 playable character will have a lot more life to them, and I think their attack power is a lot higher as well. So their attack and their defense goes up exponentially depending on how many characters are on the team. So it's a little bit of a strategy, but in essence, I think some people weren't big fans of it. Also, you may notice at the bottom is it also affects the amount of strikers. So obviously, booyah. There are certain, so you have your supers, right? This is getting kind of complicated, but that's just the way that King of Fighters is. You have your special moves, which are, you know, your ready moves or whatever, and then you have your super moves, which I will show off on Joe Higashi right now. Boom, that's my super. If you have at least, I believe. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Like this whole system is pretty messy. They never did it again, so that's the point of it. What I was trying to get at is that if you have 4 different characters, you can't do certain supers that require you to have at least 2 life bars. If you guys notice at the bottom there, my life bar says 1. Okay, Joe, come on. Stop spamming. Booyah. If you have at least 1 striker, you're able to get up to 2 different super gauges or super meters, 2 stocks rather. And then yes, if you have, however, if you have 4 active characters that you take control of, you can only have 1. If you want to do the ultra moves for your characters, which are supers that are beyond supers, yeah, you know, insert Super Saiyan joke here, you have to have at least a minimum of 2 stocks. So if you have 4 characters on your roster, on your team, then you're already limiting yourself because you can't do certain attacks because you don't have the required 2 stocks for your super meter. So that's also one thing that you have to look out for, is that if you go into this with 4 playable characters, then just be ready to be limited. You're going to be weaker. Each individual character is going to be weaker, and you're also going to not be able to do some of your ultra supers that you would normally be able to do if you had at least 1 striker on your team. Whew, man, that was complicated as hell, isn't it? So like I said, a lot of people don't like this. I think that's one of the reasons, is that the system is kind of oh, I got caught. Let's get cool in this. Booyah. Is that it was a little bit too complicated. It can make some battles lopsided, quite frankly, because you know, obviously a team of 4 is going to be undoubtedly weaker than a team of 2, just because of the way that the system is set up. And a lot of people complain about the graphics. The graphics look grainy. The music is not the best. It's definitely the weakest soundtrack in the entire series. And oddly enough, one of the things that people also complained about was the art style. Now, it's not the art style in this version. The art style in this version is actually fairly good. It's not as good as the art style from King of Fighters 2000. And, oh god, there we go. And, booyah. And, but if you see the original art style to the original arcade version, it's definitely wasn't as good. It's just something that you'll just have to look up. But the art style was definitely, for lack of a better word, it was ugly. The art style definitely didn't do this game justice, or the King of Fighters series justice, and a lot of people complained, to the point where when this version was ported over to home consoles, to the Dreamcast, the Neo Geo, I think it was released for the Neo Geo, and for the PlayStation 2, this version, they actually had to redo all the art style, and that's the art style that you see here. So the art style that you see here, the character artwork and stuff like that, actually was not in the original version of King of Fighters 2001. That's how much the art style pissed people off. And you may be wondering, well, what happened then? Why is this why is this game so bad? Why did this game turn out the way it was? And the answer to that is because at this time SNK had gone bankrupt, and one of the things that happened was that this game, King of Fighters 2001 and King of Fighters 2002, actually went to a different developer, which was I want to say Monolith. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Monolith. So it wasn't actually SNK. It wasn't the same people that developed 2000. So it was sort of like a big departure. You know, I talked about how awesome and highly regarded King of Fighters 2000 was, and you go to this game, and then it's, you know, thought to be one of the worst ones. And you can tell that it's one of the worst ones because if you guys notice, Mai is missing her bounce. If you guys just see her idol there, she has no booby bounce. Believe it or not, that was also one of the things that people complained about, is Mai missing her booby bounce. Oh, come on. By the way, K49 is also an interesting character. If you look at him, K49 being the character that I just played that just got knocked out by Mai, you may actually notice that he looks kind of familiar. He's actually based off of Tetsuo from Akira, and he was created by the Monolith, so not SNK. And SNK, because they weren't in charge of this game, they didn't create this character. And since this game came out, and since 2002, because we will see K49 in that game as well, he hasn't appeared in any King of Fighters game since this time. And the reason why is because he was obviously inspired by Tetsuo from Akira. He looks like Tetsuo. He sounds like Tetsuo. He actually has the same voice actor as Tetsuo from the anime, from the movie rather. And SNK was not pleased by that at all. And so because of that, he pretty much got axed. SNK now pretends like K49, the character based off of Tetsuo, never existed. And because of that, they nixed him. He doesn't exist anymore. And in King of Fighters 2002 Ultimate, which was the version of King of Fighters 2002, like their revamped version, which was made by SNK, K49, the character of K49, was actually replaced by a character called Nameless. He has the same moves as far as I know. I haven't played that game. He has the same moves as K49. The only thing is that he's not K49, and his name is different, and his appearance is different. So anyway, guys, we're gonna play one more match, and in this time, I'm going to play as. I'm gonna show you guys how crazy it's gonna get. So I'm gonna play as Angel, but I'm gonna have 3 strikers. So I'm playing 1 versus 3, essentially. So 1 character with 3 strikers versus 3 characters and 1 striker. And you'll notice right away that my meter is it's a lot smaller, so it takes less time to build up supers. And you'll notice that my I believe it's the case, my health is also noticeably bigger. I mean, you can't tell, but my health goes down a lot slower. And again, that's one of the things about this system that it allows you to do. Mind you, I have no idea what I'm doing with Angel. Angel is actually very, very difficult to control. The thing with Angel is that she's as hot as she looks and as cool as she looks, she's very hard to control because she's a combo character. But a combo character in the sense that you have to input certain directional and button inputs in order to do a lot of her specials. Like, her specials pretty much consist of nothing but combos. She doesn't have like special moves, she doesn't have projectiles, she doesn't have anything like that. Oh god. Like right there, I have no idea what the hell just happened. There we go. Booyah. The only thing, that's the only move that I know. But as far as the gameplay is concerned, it's still King of Fighters. You know, it's still fast-paced. It's the same one that we've seen since '99. As far as the striker is concerned, it's just the striker system itself that sort of makes 2001 a very, very unique entry in the King of Fighters series. Like I said, this is the only game in the entire series that does this. Oh, and look at that, Damon's back with his little son, which is pretty cute. I remember when I first saw that, I marked out because Damon is one of my favorite characters in the King of Fighters series, or I have a lot of fun with him. Not all the time because he is a fairly difficult character to control, especially in, you know, if you're facing off against and we're done. If you're facing off against projectile characters, but Damon is rather fun. But anyway, guys, that's it for 2001. So let me go ahead and reset the PlayStation 2 again and get 2002 ready. So let's go ahead, reset, open the PlayStation 2 up. You guys missed that PlayStation 2 intro, don't you? I know you do. And let's see, here we go. Like I said, a lot of switching, a lot of switching. Alright, so now we are moving on. As soon as this thing finishes loading here, we are moving on to King of Fighters 2002, which, again, this is another game that is not part of a storyline. 2001 was actually the ending of the Nest saga, which is pretty neat. And 2001, or 2002 rather, this game serves the same way that 98 served. It serves as a dream match. So there's no storyline, there's no anything like that. And the cool thing about 2002 is that it goes back to the 3-on-3 classic style of King of Fighters that was present in 98. So we hadn't seen this style, this 3-on-3 style, since 98. So for 99, 2000, and 2001, we had the striker system, and 2002 does away with that, and it just gives us a straight 3-on-3 playing style. And for that reason and that reason alone, this is a lot of people's favorite King of Fighters, or one of their favorite King of Fighters games, because it keeps things traditional. While at the same time, it gives us a lot of the characters and things like that that were introduced between 99 and 2001. And I'd be lying if I said that this wasn't one of my favorite entries in the King of Fighters series. It is. The King of Fighters. And here, the interesting thing about this, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose a random thing, is that you guys may or may not noticed, but a lot of these teams are based off of teams from previous years. I can't think off the top of my head of which one is which, but I know that this one, Yashiro, Shirmi, and Chris, is based off of the 97 team. Yamazaki, Mary, and Billy, I think, represent the 98 team. Iori, Mature, Vice represent the 96 team. I think Vanessa, Seth, and Raymond represent the 2000 team. And Kula, K49, and Angel represent the 2001 team. So it's pretty neat. And Mei Lee, Yuri, and Mai are a new team. Mei Lee, I have to say, she got a lot of... let's play as Mei Lee, so I can explain her deal. Mei Lee was a character that was introduced in 2001, but she was part of the Korean team. And the thing about that was that she replaced... In this instance, you may notice that there is no King. King is usually associated with the ladies team. And in this instance... King wasn't a part of this game, and Mei Lee took her place as part of the ladies team, and a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of KOF fans got upset that Mei Lee replaced King, who is oftentimes a fan favorite. And it was a nasty time to be a fan of Mei Lee, because a lot of people claim that the reason why you know, a fan favorite like King wasn't in this game was because they wanted to make room for Mei Lee. So there was a lot of hate for Mei Lee for a good amount of time, which is kind of sad because I actually like Mei Lee. She's a cool character. She does Taekwondo, so she was part of the Taekwondo team. So she's fast. Her legs, I don't know if you can notice, but are freakishly long. So she has a good amount of reach. She's fast, and I don't know. I like her look. And one of the interesting things about Mei Lee is that she actually has a superhero persona, which I'm not showing off because Mei Lee is kind of like Angel. She has two different stances, or Angel is more or less... Oh man, I'm getting my ass kicked. Boop. Oh no, she countered. Booyah! Sorry guys. What I was trying to say. Oh, look at that. Jun Hoon is in the back talking on the phone. He was part of the Korean team from '99 and 2000. He didn't show up in 2001 because Melee took his place. But anyway, Melee has a different. Let's see if I can. Has a different stance, which I'm not utilizing because I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know how to use it. I'm not gonna look at the I'm not gonna look at the oh god, see, I'm trying to get into it, but I failed. But she does have a different mode. She has two different stances, and one of them is called the fighting stance, or I don't remember what it's called, but it's the stance that we were just in, and the next one it's called the hero stance. Essentially, Melee thinks that she's a superhero, which is kind of all kinds of awesome. This is Raymond, which is kind of cool. He's sort of like a luchador, and one of the interesting things here is fun fact, because I love my fun fact. I try to make it an effort to provide you guys with fun facts in everything that I do. Fun fact about Raymond is that, oh god, not that, is that in his official, oh god, I'm gonna die. Okay, damn it. In his official artwork, I think for either 2000, I think it's 2002, one of his official artwork, he's actually holding the mask of Blue Demon, or Blue Demon, as he's called in oh no, who is a famed luchador in Mexico. He's sort of like a cult hero over there. I'm getting tired of yo ass, Maxima. So that's pretty cool, you know, a connection to a real world luchador. So that's always kind of fun. And yes, I did get my ass kicked. I don't know how to use Seth or choose them as Seth or Melee very well, but like I said before, guys, I'm trying to kind of change up the lineup. I don't want to just play as characters that I'm good at, because then we would be looking at nothing but Kyo and Terry and Ryo, and that's no fun. I want to, you know, I want to change up the lineup here. And look at that, it's Bao. Thankfully he's not in this game because a lot of people don't like Bao. Like I said, a lot of people don't think that he deserves to be in a game, like a little runt like him. Oh god, and there's Tung Fu Ru from the King of Fighters, or not the King of Fighters, the Fatal Fury series. Ironically enough, he never makes it to, he's never been in a King of Fighters series, but this is his second time, at least to my knowledge, that he's appeared in a background for a King of Fighters game. If you guys remember, all the way back in King of Fighters 94, he was in the Fatal Fury stage on the boat. I pointed him out, and here he is again, this time in the backstage of the China stage. And if you guys see over there on the left, you guys can see Zion Fei, who we saw way back in '99. Oh god, shouldn't have done that. Oh, didn't even know that I could do that. That's awesome. And I got knocked out. Zion Fei is on the left, and she's having a eating contest with Shang Xinzan, who again, this is his second time that he's been in a background as cameo. First one was again with Tung Fu Ru over there. And Zion Fei won, and there's also Han Fu from King of Fighters 3, or not King of Fighters 3, Fatal Fury 3. Alright. Freaking Yamazaki is like getting on my damn nerves. Booyah, sucker. Booyah. I think I'm just gonna like end up playing as Robert the entire time. But yeah, this game, the good thing about this game is that it does have some of the most cameos in the background of any King of Fighters game, which is always pretty awesome. Like I said, King of Fighters has no, or SNK rather, has no shortage of awesome characters, and it's good that they utilize them like this. That's one thing that... Oh god, I have no idea how I missed that. By the way, if you guys haven't noticed yet, I have no idea what I'm doing with Robert. Normally I'm able to use him fairly well, but again, that's assuming that he plays the same way that he did in whatever game that I got good at him with. So even though I'm good at him most of the time, that doesn't mean that I'm good at him in 2002. Which goes back to my thing that I like about King of Fighters is that it always keeps you on your toes. You know, just because you know how to play as a character in one game doesn't mean that you'll know how to play as a character in another game. So, and now we're facing off against the ladies team. Let's hope that Mai doesn't completely own us the way that she's been doing all night. And there she goes. And there she goes. Booyah! Get off. And booyah! Forgot about that move. Stop taunting me! Oh god! Get off me! Oh no! Come on, jump in. Booyah! Just like that. Because that's how we roll, son. Alright, so I think at the end of this match, guys, that'll be it for King of Fighters 2000, so we can make our way over to 2000, or the end of 2002, so we can make our way over to 2003, so kind of speed things along here. Been doing this for like the past 2 hours now. Oh god. My fingers are starting to hurt. I'm gonna get knocked out, yep. I do love the stages in this game. That's one thing that I really, really like about this game, is that the stages were very, very well done. A lot of movement, like I said, a lot of cameos in the back from other characters, which is always good to see. Oh god, back to playing as melee, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Booyah! Booyah! Awesome. Again, guys, I do apologize. I just keep noticing that when I get really, really quiet, it's just I'm trying to figure out how to play as Mei-Li. I used to know more of her moves. Hopefully, you'll be able to notice them here with an actual Mei-Li player here. Oh god. And like I said, my fingers hurt right now. Okay, I know. Oh god. Oh god, just a bunch of yells from Mei-Li going on right now. Oh god, I'm about to die. Booyah. Maybe. Maybe. Nope. Oh, alright. Alright, let's finish off Mei-Li. I'm pretty sure we won this game with Raymond. Awesome. So, unless Mei-Li can pull off an upset victory here, we should have this. Oh, yes. I didn't even know that was a super. Booyah! Love it, man. I love it. Alright, guys. So that has been King of Fighters 2002. One of the better entries in the series. So let's go ahead and get 2003 ready, and let's move on to a new, sort of, a new, how should we call it, a new era for King of Fighters. So with 2003, let's go ahead and put that game in there. And actually, I just noticed something. While you guys look at the intro for this magnificent game, because this is a rather good game in the series, another entry in the series that a lot of people really, really like, I forgot to take out King of Fighters XI. So I'm going to be looking for that. Okay, here it is. Awesome. That's good. I didn't need to dig up in my vast video game library here. Awesome. Found it fairly quickly. And there's a nice little 10th anniversary logo for King of Fighters. Always good to see. And let me see this. Awesome. Alright, so this is King of Fighters 2003. And this was, as you guys can probably imagine, a restart. This is a new saga in the latest saga, actually. The most recent one in the King of Fighters series. 2003 was also the last time that the series, or games in the series rather, were named after years. There is a reason for that, and the reason for that is because one, by this time, SNK had gotten back to its, they weren't going bankrupt, to put it bluntly, they weren't going bankrupt, and they had gained control back of the company, they had gained control back of the King of Fighters series, so this is SNK once again doing the King of Fighters series. So it's no longer Monolith, which was the ones that did 2001 and 2002. As you can probably tell, the quality has gone up. Unfortunately, with this entry, and as you guys can see here, we've gone back to the traditional 3-on-3 style. And this is one thing that I never really like. As you guys can see here, there are two characters here. One is Shizuru, which we've seen already before, and one of them is Maki. They look absolutely identical. There's nothing different between them. They play slightly different though, so that's one thing. But for this game, we're going to play as the newcomers here, Ash, Dualon, and Shen. And anyway, the reason why this was the last entry that has a proper year attached to them, oh god damn it, I keep choosing the wrong colors, is because by this point, simply put, because of the fact that SNK had gone out of business, essentially they'd gone bankrupt, they weren't in charge of the King of Fighters series for a while. They essentially, what had happened was that they could no longer keep up with the years. I'm trying to see. Here we go. Oh god. And that's why you will never see. We never got King of Fighters 2004 or 2005. We got a 2006. However, that's not really a main entry game. That was actually an alternative name for King of Fighters Maximum Impact 2. So that really doesn't count. So essentially, that's essentially what happened. They couldn't really keep up with the year, and so after this, that's when they started naming them after the the entry, whatever entry number it was for whatever year it was. So that's why the next game in the series is going to be 11, and that's why they started naming them 11, 12, and 13. They just couldn't keep up with the years, really. And one thing right away that you may have already noticed is that this game went back to a traditional 3-on-3 style. However, they went with an active tagging system. So it's now more closer to the Marvel vs. Capcom series, meaning that you no longer have to wait for the person to get knocked out, like your team member to get knocked out. All you have to do is it's active tagging, which is great. It keeps things a lot faster. So it makes things even more hectic than it was before. Oh god. And push. And the same way with 99, we also have a new main character, which I am playing as. His name is Ash. And Ash is actually rather unique in that instead of being a hero, he's more like an anti-hero. But even more so than Iori. Iori is seen as an anti-hero. He's sort of like the anti-Kyo, so to speak. But with Ash, it's actually implied that he has bad intentions. I haven't played King of Fighters 13 to really know the storyline, with how it ended and stuff like that, so I can't really tell you guys. And that's also one of the reasons why I won't be playing that today, because I don't have the game. Oh god. But for the first time in the series, we actually have a main character who's actually a bad guy, which I thought was pretty cool. And again, one of the things that makes King of Fighters stand out from other fighting games is that they're not afraid to make risk like that, where you are actually playing as the bad guy. Ash is not the most liked character in fighting games. I don't like him. I think he's cocky. I think he's a little too effeminate. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for a main character, I don't really like that. But again, it's SNK trying new things, and it worked. You kind of don't like him, and he's sort of like the opposite. He's totally against guys like Kyo and Iori. He's sort of like against them. So it's kind of like the new guy going up against the seasoned veterans, if you will. So that's also one of the things that kind of pissed me off about him, is that he's making Iori and Kyo look foolish. You know, he's trying to take their spot. Now this guy is Gato, and Gato is actually the he actually is from Mark of the Wolves, the last entry in the Fatal Fury series. So kind of keeping in line with the fact that you know, the King of Fighters are sort of like a celebration of whatever entry in the whatever games. Oh god, whatever new games that SNK had been producing at the time that the King of Fighters games came out. So with Gato, with this game actually, you have 3 characters that came from the King of Fighter from Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, not Wild Ambition, Mark of the Wolves. Those being B. Jenny, who is the pirate lady, who's really, really hot. Let's be blunt here. B. Jenny, Tizok, who is the wrestler guy, and Gato, who we just saw. And all 3 of them debuted in this game, and all 3 of them were from Mark of the Wolves. Which again, SNK isn't really making as many games as fighting games as they used to. They kind of just make King of Fighters now. But even at this time, it was still cool to see that they were still trying to integrate the original premise of the King of Fighters series, which was basically that you took characters from all these different series and brought them together into one game. So even though they weren't making that many new games, or well, they weren't making any new games by the time that this one came out, but they were still integrating, they were still introducing new characters and things like that. And that's something that even goes on until the, you know, that still happened, you know, going forward with King of Fighters 11 and even King of Fighters 12. They were still doing that, you know. They were still integrating characters from other series, other fighting game series, into their roster, which is pretty cool. Let's do that. And by the way, this is Kusanagi. Kusanagi is more or less an excuse to have a different version of Kyo, the old version of Kyo that you guys see there. He's doing his old fireball techniques or whatever. In storyline, he's an evil clone. From a gameplay standpoint, it's basically just their excuse to have the old version of Kyo in a game. And he is tough. I don't remember him being this tough, but then again, I haven't played these games in a while, so you can excuse me for sucking somewhat. And we'll do one more match, but I think that you guys have pretty much seen how cool this game is. This game was well received. It was definitely a lot better than some, you know, in my opinion, I think a lot of people in the KOF community, from what I can remember at least, they really liked this game, if only because it kind of brought back, it was closer to the original. I don't think that the striker system really was all that successful. To be quite frank, I never really used the striker system all that much. It was there, but I never really used it. Only in like high level, like people who really knew how to use the strikers really ever made use of them. Other than that though, I personally never used them. So it was sort of, oh, okay. I don't play much with Dual On, so that was kind of a surprise. Ooh, and booyah! That's cool. Oh god! Do that. And by the way, if you guys are wondering what that move does, you're not noticing it, but every time that Dual On hits that little like cloud thing that he does, his special move that he does that I've done a couple times now, if it hits, if it connects, it actually removes one of the opponent's specials. So you're not really noticing it because, you know, you're not playing as the computer. You know, the computer's playing it as those characters. But if you're playing against an actual human opponent, oh, come on. Oh no, yep, I'm done. They'll notice. You'll notice that one of your specials, one of your moves, you can't use anymore, which is pretty cool. Oh man, Jun is kicking my ass all kinds of different ways. I may lose this match. And booyah! Awesome. All right, we finished strong here. So anyway, guys, that was King of Fighters 2003. A great game. It was a great restart to the series. But now we are moving on to what a lot of people consider to be quite possibly the best game in the entire series. I know I said that already with King of Fighters 98 and 2002, but in more recent times, this has oftentimes been considered to be the best game in the King of Fighters series, for a lot of good reasons too. Around this time, as I mentioned before, SNK had kind of gone under for a while, and they stopped naming the King of Fighters games after years, and this was the first game that they started to name after whatever number in the series it was. So this is King of Fighters 11, and it's a great game. I remember spending hours and hours on this, if only because of a really, really neat feature that it has. That being that this, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to see this, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it, but this game actually contains a very, very cool system where you're able to face off against a number of different hidden sub-bosses, like optional sub-bosses and things like that, and some of these bosses can be really, really cool, and I'm going to show you them, who they are, in the character select screen because I pretty much unlocked all of them. One thing that I will say right away is if you have this game, or if you get this game, and I highly recommend that you do, one thing that I would suggest doing immediately is go to your options. You select, I think, battle settings. And yes, okay, so this is the thing, guys. There are two different versions. There's arcade and then there's arrange. I highly recommend that you choose arrange, and for one reason and one reason only, which I'll get to in a minute. But before I do that, let's go with the arcade play. And immediately, this is the new game. Very, very stylish. We have a new character here, Oswald, which is a lot of people's favorites. He uses cards, so he's kind of like Gambit. But we're not going to use him. We're going to use some of the secret characters that I have unlocked here. And immediately when you go to the right, here are some of the sub-bosses that you can choose. You can choose Adelheid, Hotaru. Not all of these are going to be sub-bosses. Some of them are just like unlockable characters. But very, very cool unlockable characters. This is the first time, to my knowledge, that you really had this many unlockable characters in a King of Fighters game. So anyway, you have Adelheid, who is Rugal's son. You have Guy, and Guy, he's from Buriki 1, a very, very obscure SNK fighting game. You have Hayate from Savage Rain, another obscure SNK fighting game. You have Silver, again from Buriki 1. You have Jazu from Savage Rain. Shion, who is the sub-boss for this game. Magaki, who is the final boss of this game. Then you have Geese, Mr. Big, X-Kyo or EX-Kyo, which is again another version of Kyo. Tung Fu-Ru, obviously from Fatal Fury. Robert, but this is the version from Art of Fighting continuity. Mai, who amazingly enough was not in the game originally. And Hotaru from Mark of the Wolves. So we're going to choose, we're actually going to choose Hayate, Silver, and Jazu. Yeah, why not? So these are very, very cool hidden characters, and a lot of these guys are exclusive to this game, meaning that they no longer appeared, they wouldn't appear later on in 12 or 13. So this is some of the few times that non-Japanese or big-time fans of SNK were able to choose some of these characters. This guy is Hayate, Sho Hayate, and he's actually from a game called Savage Rain, and he's very cool. He has this really weird style that utilizes I'm trying to remember like how to a boomerang to attack. I'm trying to remember how to. There we go. To attack. So he's really cool. He's really unique, but really fun nonetheless. This is Silver from Buriki 1. He's very, very slow, but very, very strong. He can telegraph a lot of his attacks, but again, he's very, very strong. And Boosh, awesome. I think, and that's Beat Jenny, by the way. She's from Mark of the Wolves as well. boosh. And one of the things, let me just kind of mention right now, as to why I mentioned sort of changing the battle system to from arcade to arrange. There really, it's sorry guys, I'm getting used to this game again. This is such a great game. But the main reason to change the battle system from arcade to arrange is if you choose arrange, it's the original arcade version, or sorry, if you choose arcade, it's the original arcade version of this game. However, there is a problem with the original arcade version of King of Fighters XI. It's not necessarily a problem, but it's one thing that will seriously turn you off from this game, and that is Magaki, the final boss of this game, is one of the cheapest bastards that you will ever face in any fighting game ever. Freaking ever. He is so cheap. It's not even fair. It's actually not fair, because a lot of people complain to the point where that's the reason why we have arrange mode. Arrange mode is essentially the same game, but the main difference that you will see right away is that they fixed Magaki and made him essentially, I don't want to say playable, but they made him fairer. I don't know if that's a proper word or not, but that's essentially what they did. So it's a lot easier, or it's not necessarily a lot easier, but actually, yeah, it is. It's more of a fair fight. That's what I'm trying to say. Come on, hit me. Come on, hit me. There we go. Boosh. And boosh. I love Silver. He's so awesome. He reminds me of a much slower but much more powerful version of Akuma. So anyway, that's the reason why I recommend, if you play this game, the first thing that you need to do is change it from arcade to arrange, like immediately, because it will make things a lot easier for you, believe me. One thing that I want to talk about real quick, because I really don't know when else I'll be able to talk about this, is Silver and Guy, which is Guy being the MMA fighter that I didn't choose. He's also one of the secret characters. They are from Buriki 1, which is a very obscure SNK fighting game. Buriki 1 is a game that even fighting game fans like myself have probably never played, and in fact I have never myself played it. I've seen playthroughs of it on the internet and YouTube and things like that, and I've read about it and things like that. I know about it. I know what the premise is. I know the controls and things like that. I have personally never played Buriki 1, but essentially it was a game that was released for the ill-fated Neo Geo 64, and even then it was only released in the arcades. So essentially what it was this 3D fighting game that tried to kind of give more of a realistic perspective. What it was a fighting game that took place in an MMA sort of competition type thing, and Guy was the main character in it, and Silver was one of the hidden characters in it. And actually Ryo from Art of Fighting actually made an appearance in it, except in that game he wasn't throwing fireballs and things like that. Like I said, the whole premise of that game was that it was realistic. It was like a realistic fighting game, a realistic 3D fighting game. So none of this sort of even comparing it to something like Virtual Fighter. Virtual Fighter was a lot more arcadey than Buriki 1 was. That's how much realistic this game was going for. And unfortunately, this game was never released for any home console whatsoever. And even the arcade machine is relative, or I shouldn't say relatively, it is pretty much rare. And to my knowledge, there are no emulators or ROMs of it, or at least the last time I tried to find one, because it is a game that I would love to cover, and I would like to play. First and foremost, I've never been able to find it. And here's one of the new challengers. Essentially, if you do certain things in this game, you're able to challenge different characters. I really don't remember the circumstances. All I know is that most of the time you're probably going to be playing against Adelheid. Adelheid is probably the default
hidden character that you'll face in these things. Adelhyde is actually one of the sub-bosses in 2003. Obviously, we didn't get to see him because I didn't play through the whole thing. But he is essentially Rugal's son. And he plays kind of like a much faster version of him. Or rather, a much more like, what should I say? A much more sort of subdued version of Rugal. And by the way, in the back there's Hinako, Fio from Metal Slug, and Leona from King of Fighters. 3 characters that did not make it to this game. Throw my boomerang at you, sir. Oh god. Let me kick you. Oh, okay. Let me kick you. There we go. And like I said before, I don't remember, rather, what the circumstances are for facing some of the other characters. All I know is that you can face a list of characters, of different characters, and that's another thing that makes this game really cool, just for how many different, how many different characters there are, and just how many different characters there are, you know? Like, who would have ever expected to see characters from Bariki 1, you know? Come on, hit me. No, not now. There we go, awesome. Silver has a really cool counter move. That's why I kept telling him to kick me. I'm not masochistic, I swear. Alright, and Shion, and we're not going to watch this because this is the story mode. We can skip this because we have time for one more match. And I'm going to play as Silver. And if you guys notice there, a new character in this game is Momo. I think that's her name. It's been a while since I played this game, like I said. Momo is actually pretty interesting because she is actually a capoeira fighter. There she goes. Momokan or something. No, Momokan's the convention. I can't remember her name. It's like Momo or something. She's a capoeira fighter, but she's a Japanese capoeira fighter, which is pretty unique. And obviously her style isn't as fluid as somebody like Booyah, somebody as Elena, but it's still nice enough. You know, it's nice enough. Oh god. And I also want to mention the music. The music in both 2001 and 2001, 2002, and 2003 weren't some of my favorite ones in the series. You know, I really like the soundtrack in Eat Lead late. Oh god. I really like the soundtracks in King of Fighters, but by this point in the series, it had been a while since we had gotten a really good soundtrack. The soundtrack in King of Fighters XI is really good. It's one of my favorite ones. In fact, I have all the oh god. I have all the songs in my iPod. That's how good it is. Booyah. Come on, chip damage. There we go. And by the way, I remember, if you guys remember, all the way back in, I think, oh god, 97, when I was playing that, I mentioned how Kenso loses his, lost for a while at least in the series, he lost his powers, so he wasn't able to do the projectile move. If you guys notice, he was able to do the projectile moves. That's because in this game, he gained it back. But anyway, guys, that's it for King of Fighters XI. I will now be getting ready to play King of Fighters XII. So, what we need to do here is I need to find my wire for my PlayStation 3. I cannot find it. Let's see, where is my wire for not King of Fighters. The last game in the series and the last game that I'm going to be playing today. Like I said, I would love to play King of Fighters 13 to sort of complete the entire series, but unfortunately I don't have King of Fighters 13. So it's a very unfortunate thing. But that is the sad truth. You guys see in there my login stuff. Yes, my name is KOF Legend. And there we go. Alright, so now we have moved on to the PlayStation 3, and we get to play King of Fighters 12. So this is going to be the last game in the series for today. Well, it's the last game in this series and my coverage of the King of Fighters series for today, and today's special Thanksgiving live stream. And I know that this isn't the last game in the series. The last game in the series, or rather the most recent game in the series, is King of Fighters 13. But as I've said many times before already, I unfortunately do not own that game, so I can't cover it. But this at least shows you sort of like the most recent entry in the series, and King of Fighters 13 is more or less the same as this game, or it has the same art style, it has the same system. So here it is. This is King of Fighters 12. I actually did a Roulette Sunday episode of this. So let me see. I think I actually skipped through the intro. So this is the intro. I think there's an intro. I was gonna say, like, is there an intro? I think there is. Yeah, there is. So this is King of Fighters 12. Like I said before, I mentioned it before, that this is more or less a another sort of like dream match. It doesn't have a story mode. It doesn't have any elements of a story. It doesn't even have a final boss to speak of. So it's as basic as you can get as far as a fighting game, or at least as far as King of Fighters is concerned. And for that reason and that reason alone, a lot of people think that this, or a lot of people consider, myself included, consider this to be nothing more than a dream match, in the same vein as King of Fighters 98 and King of Fighters 2002. One of the things that you'll notice right away is that obviously the graphics have been upgraded tremendously from King of Fighters 11. We are no longer using the old Neo Geo style. We're no longer running on the Neo Geo engine, which a lot of people are very, very grateful for, myself included. I think for a time, the graphics from the Neo Geo were starting to really show their age. If I can be completely honest, they had been showing their age for like a really long time. But this is the character select screen. If you guys notice, there's really not a lot. So I'm going to choose Elizabeth, and I'm going to choose Athena, and I'm going to choose Raiden. And I'm going to keep it normal. And as you guys can tell already, we're doing the basic 3-on-3, no strikers, the same thing as before. And it's essentially the same thing as King of Fighters 11. It's the same thing that has been going on since 2003. It's just that the graphics, and you guys will notice right away, is that the graphics have been largely improved upon. Look at this; they look freaking gorgeous. But it's the same thing that we've been playing before. Booyah! The only thing that I can notice right away, actually, is that there's no longer any active tagging. It's been a while since I played this, so... Oh god, I'm getting my ass kicked. Holy hell. Good god, Kyo is just freaking merciless. Jesus, and you may have noticed that, yes, we do have English voice actors now. I really don't know if... You know what, Kyo? I'm getting tired of your ass. Booyah. Walk right into it, sir. Walk right into it. I may not know what I'm doing with Elizabeth, but I know Athena. Athena's my homegirl, even though she has one of the most annoying voices in all of fighting games. I'm gonna tear this guy up. One of the things that I really didn't like about this game, and I know it's kind of minor, and it's really, really trivial, is that Athena didn't really gain a new outfit. If you guys remember back when I was playing through King of Fighters 98, I made it an effort to mention that in her intro, when you chose to fight as Athena, come on, mature. If you guys remember, I made it an effort to mention how in King of Fighters 98,
there's a section where at the start of a match, Athena shows you she kind of cycles through all the outfits that she's had, and in this game she kind of just she's really just sticking to her normal sort of schoolgirl outfit, which, to be fair, she has never had in the series. She's never had the schoolgirl outfit. She's never fought in one. She starts off as a schoolgirl, like in a schoolgirl outfit, but she never fights in her schoolgirl outfit. So it is technically a new outfit, but it's not anywhere near as elaborate as the ones that she's had in the past. By the way, what the hell happened to Ralph? Jesus Christ. Someone's been hitting up the roids, man. Oh god, he's gonna hurt me. And then another thing that I will mention right now is that the other reason why people think that this is a just gonna spam this. Booyah! Oh damn it! Oh no! Oh god! The other reason why people think that this is a dream match is the inclusion of Mature. Now I know that we didn't really, I haven't really talked much about the storyline in the King of Fighters series. But in the storyline, if you follow the storyline, Mature actually died. She was killed by Iori way back in King of Fighters 96. That's the reason that she was not included. Her or Vice were not included in any of the subsequent games, with the exception of Dream Matches 98 and 2002. So a lot of people think that because she's included in this game, that must mean that this is a dream match. You know, storyline wise, it doesn't make sense for her to be here since she's already dead, which again kind of adds to the speculation that yes, this is supposed to be meant to be taken as a dream match, besides the fact that yeah, there's absolutely no storyline whatsoever. Yeah, there's cutscenes between matches. I mean, we saw some cutscenes at the beginning of the game, kind of introducing King of Fighters and talking about the rules and stuff like that, but that's really it. You know, you could take those out and it would have made no difference whatsoever. By the way, the people in the back, what the hell are they doing? Done. Boosh. Look at them. They are so freaky. They're freaking out right now. By the way, my god, I've been playing King of Fighters game for what, like 3 hours now? 2-3 hours? I'm starting to like lose feeling in my fingers. Oh god. The other thing about this game is that, and I know again this is only something that King of Fighters fans have, you know, will notice, but seeing as how we've been playing, or you know, you've been kind of joined me here as I've gone through the entire King of Fighters series, so you and I will notice this sort of stuff, or at least I hope that you've noticed this sort of stuff. But you may notice that characters don't really have as many moves as they used to. Or, you know, if you play the entire series, you'll start to notice that this game seriously lacks a lot of the characters definitely lack some of their moves that they had in previous King of Fighters games. Oh god, oh Jesus. I will say this though too. One thing that I'm noticing is that the AI is certainly not as good as it once was. You may notice that with Terry here as well as Kyo at the beginning. Boosh. Come here, sir. Boosh. They seem to spam a lot of the same moves over and over, kind of just hoping to hit you at certain points. So that's not indicative of a good game, or not a good game that's been programmed very well. Oh, Jesus. That's not good. Boosh! And before I move along here, before I talk about other things... Oh god, I have no idea what I just did. Boosh! Love Raiden. This is Raiden. Raiden is making his King of Fighters debut. He's actually from way back from the original King of Fighters... not King of Fighters, damn it. I always confuse the two. From the original Fatal Fury. So he's been a while for a long time, and strangely enough, King of Fighters never really had its own wrestler type. They didn't really get that until 2003 when they brought in Tizok from... Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Tizok in from Mark of the Wolves, but he's not in this game, so in his place is Raiden from Fatal Fury. And one thing I will say before we move on here, or while it's still relevant, is with Iori. Iori, a lot of people, when this game first came out, complained about Iori because Iori has definitely been nerfed a lot. And when you play as him, he plays nothing like how he did in the previous King of Fighters game, and he's been around since '95. And while that's one thing that that I know that a lot of people complained about when they first played this game, I will say this much. By the way, I love this stage. I think it's a very, very pretty stage. I will say this much. Even though he doesn't play as well as he used to, it's not so much that this is a new game and they're trying to change him up and things like that. That's actually based on the storyline. Again, I know I really didn't talk much about the storyline of the King of Fighters series, which is kind of a shame because, for all intents and purposes, the King of Fighters storyline is a lot better than the Street Fighters storyline. Ooh, yeah, I said it. Booyah! I have no idea what I'm doing here with Elizabeth. Booyah! But anyway, in the storyline, if you guys remember, Ash, who is the new character, the new main character of the latest storyline here, his whole goal is to steal the powers from Shizuru, Kyo, and Iori. If you guys remember, Shizuru was in King of Fighters 2003, but she wasn't in King of Fighters 11. That's because at the end of King of Fighters 2003, Ash took her power, so she doesn't have her powers anymore. At the end of King of Fighters 11, which was the game that came before this, Ash actually managed to take away his Iori's power. So that's why Iori in this game is a lot weaker than he was in previous games, including King of Fighters 11, which is the game that came immediately before this one. So even though, yes, it's annoying that Iori is not as powerful as he once used to be, it actually makes sense from a storyline standpoint. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I do remember the first time I played this game, and I played as Iori. That's one thing that annoyed me, and I thought at first I was kind of complaining like, oh, this game, they just, they can't get nothing right, it must be a new team. And I'm just like, after a while, of thinking about it and stuff like that, and they're like, no, like, it's actually in the storyline, it's based on the storyline. It's not something that, it's not just that maybe that this game has a new team compared to the older King of Fighter games. It's that they're following the storyline to a T. Iori's not supposed to have his powers anymore. So again, all right. So let's finish Duel On here, and we can be on our way here. Finish this stream. Get off me. And I'm getting hungry, so hopefully the turkey's ready. Booyah! Come on, jump in, sir. Jump in. I said jump in. There you go. Booyah! Awesome. And that is it, guys. That's all I'm going to show for now of King of Fighters 12. So anyway, guys, that's it for my live stream coverage of the King of Fighters series. We have seen, or I played through, and you have seen all the entries from King of Fighters 94 all the way up until King of Fighters 12. I realize that there is a King of Fighters 13. Again, if I had it, I would have covered it, but I don't have it. But yes, there is one more game after this one. It's King of Fighters 13. It's available for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I don't know if it's available for the PC. It may be, but I'm not a PC gamer, and I don't care to be. So, in my opinion, the best way to play fighting games is on the arcade stick or with a regular D-pad, not on a keyboard. So I wouldn't really know. But anyway, hopefully now you have seen the majority of the King of Fighters games. There are other ones. There are other entries in the King of Fighters series that I did not play through today, including King of Fighters Neo Wave, which was for the Xbox, which was another dream match kind of game. And then there's the Maximum Impact games, which I do have, but they are not part of the main storyline, the main canon of the King of Fighters series. But they are pretty good games. And yeah, so hopefully you saw something that you liked. If you're a fan of King of Fighters, I hope that you enjoyed this little walkthrough, sort of like a walkthrough time, if you will, going all the way from the beginning, all the way to the most recent, one of the most recent games, being number 12. And yeah, if you enjoyed this live stream, guys, if you enjoyed this coverage of the King of Fighters series, of the King of Fighters history, be sure to hit me up on Twitter. I'm on there at Johnny Crimson 2K. Go over to my YouTube channel, which is where this is going after this. If you're watching this already on there, then you don't need to. You've already found me. Be sure to subscribe and like this video and leave a comment. Share some of your favorite King of Fighters moments, some of your memories of the King of Fighters series. I absolutely love this series, and if you've never seen the King of Fighters series before, then hopefully watching this has changed your mind. This is easily one of the best fighting game series of all time, but unfortunately, especially nowadays, it hasn't really gotten that much love for a number of reasons. One's because it's always been in the shadow of Street Fighter, and two, 2D fighting has kind of gone away. It's not as hot as it used to be. And SNK is a really niche company to begin with. So if you want a great fighting game, you can't really go wrong then with the King of Fighters series. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. This is Johnny Crimson 2000, and I will see you in my next video / live stream / if you want to hit me up on Twitter, I'll see you there. All right. So peace out.